It basically started, I knew something was wrong around 4 months old. So at her checkup, we went in to our pediatrician. He checked her out, and physically she was doing great. And at the tail end of that, I said, there's some things that are concerning me, and I brought up those concerns. And he looked at her and took a minute, and he handed me a questionnaire to fill out, and it was the first time I'd ever seen the word autism.
We noticed that Jessica would be doing a lot more things than her brother would do. For instance, pointing, eye contact. When we went to the children's one-year checkup, the pediatrician had a checklist for milestones. And when I was going through my daughter's questions, all those were pretty much yes. And then when I came to Aiden's, most of those were no.
At his annual, his well visit for 1-year-old, I did the pediatrician screening, and she told me that he scored a little low, and there was a program at SARrc where he could be evaluated for autism and participate in this study.
The name of the program is the Get, Set, Early model, and the SET stands for Screen, Evaluate, and Treat. And currently we have 107 pediatricians in the network. And all of these pediatricians agree to screen using the same screening questionnaire at the 12-month, 18-month, and 24-month well baby checkup. And if a child doesn't have enough points on the screening questionnaire, then they get referred to SARrc for a free developmental evaluation.
This project brought in a screening at 12 months, so we were able to catch things a little bit earlier. In addition, the process for getting the kids an official diagnosis took a year or more sometimes. The wait list was very long. And so with this new project, these kids can get evaluated, in a period of 3 or 4 weeks and get into the services much quicker.
We went through about a 4-hour evaluation with the psychologist, and when we received the diagnosis, it was at risk for moderate to severe autism.
When a family gets a diagnosis of autism from SARrc, they're not simply left out in the cold. There are people there and programs that we have that can help guide that family through their next steps.
What I'm trying to do for them is to help them understand the disorder and how to help their child move those skills in the right direction. And it's really trying to help them pass that first initial period of grief. That this isn't the end of the world. That we can do something, we know what works. And obviously the earlier and the more intense the interventions are, the better the outcomes.
The benefits of diagnosing at 12 months versus 5 years are immeasurable. In the first year, we screened over 11,000 kids, and from that, we had close to 200 evaluations in 1 year, and their kids are making tremendous gains. So that's 200 lives that have been changed dramatically because of this project in just 1 year.
So that's what early intervention is designed to do. It's to address those delays as soon as they're noticeable enough so that it doesn't start to diverge and become a larger and larger gap developmentally.
We understand how parents feel when they get a diagnosis like this. I felt like as I was hearing the news that the floor dropped out from under me, and I felt literally like I was free falling. Until it's part of your life, you really can't get your brain around it. My biggest goal in life is to protect my children and make sure they have a great life. And imagining that you're not going to be able to do that is really scary.
Autism may have a stigma for a lot of folks. It did for me. It really did for me. I think that's why I was so devastated when my first son was diagnosed. And then when my second son was diagnosed, I felt like, you know what? I'm on this process with Stephen already. We're going to tackle it, and we'll give them what they need, and we'll get them going in life, And I think I have seen a lot of benefits for my younger son getting into it that much earlier.
Sienna's really funny, and she's very outgoing, and she loves people. She just didn't have the tools to express those, and she's still developing them. But already now, she'll walk into a room if we go to a play date and walk over to the other children and introduce herself. And that just seemed completely impossible. And I think that I suffered unnecessarily thinking about what worst case scenarios could be.
Really, it's not waste a day, a second, a minute waiting for things to change. It's up to us parents to make things happen and make it change. My biggest advice is don't let another day go by. Another day you cannot get back from your child's development.